All right. So for 11, in doing with inequalities, what you've got to decide with is, since we're finding both the positive and the negative distance from 11 to 0, we are always going to have two answers. And so I have to decide, based on the inequality, what kind of compound inequality it's going to be. All right? And it goes based off the sign. That sign is a what kind of sign? It's a greater than sign. Okay? It's a greater than sign. And so what we learned is that when I have a compound inequality dealing with the greater than in my absolute value, that this is going to be an OR, which means when I get done, I'm going to break it apart, and whichever direction, my signs are going to be opposite signs. Okay? Now, some of us get confused as I've looked at some of your work, how you're going to set which one is going to be the greater than and which one's going to be the less than. All right? So it goes off of your original. So right here, is there anything I have to clear on the absolute value?
No.
No. So the absolute value, no. You don't. On the outside of the absolute value, there's nothing there. And so what I want to do now is lose the absolute value signs, and basically, like it's a representation of the absolute value signs, I can break this down into two questions, and therefore the absolute value signs can go away. So my original one is going to be negative 8a minus 3 greater than 11. That's the original. The OR is going to be the opposite one. So it's going to be negative 8a minus 3, and this one's going to switch around, and it's going to be the opposite like that. Okay? So based on how you write your original is going to dictate how you do the next one. Okay? All right, and so now all we got to do is solve both sides. Now, there's some things here that you've got to make sure, as you can see right now, I got a negative 8 on the A, don't I? And so you know at some point I'm dividing by negative 8 because we've done a ton of these. What's that going to do to my sign? So what happens if I don't bring my negatives and things like that with me whenever I'm solving these? I'm going to get an answer, but it's going to be completely wrong because one, the negative is going to dictate my answer, and two, the negative is going to dictate my sign. And so paying attention to details when it comes to these is what some of us really need to step our game up in. Okay, because I'm pretty sure in number 12, to where that was opposite and you subtracted by the 1, you probably didn't bring down the negative with the 4. Is a very common thing that most people did. All right, and so right here, let's solve this one. That's all right. Decimals don't bother us. Okay, and so I divided by a negative. I'm going to flip my sign, and that's going to give me negative 7 over 2. No, over 4, sorry. Over 4. Took my 2 out.
So, we're supposed to do it as a fraction on decimal?
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Same thing as negative 1.75.
So let's see. 2 go into that. No, 1 go into that. So, yeah, 1.75. 1 3/4. Yeah, same thing. All right, and so to kind of give us a little bit of refresher for some of us still back on Unit 2, we're going to practice the number line thing. Because some of us have a really tough time still graphing these, okay? And so I like that this one's a fraction for us to practice with, because you're like, oh no, I got to plug in decimals or I got to plug in no. I got to pick a number to the left and a number to the right. And what'd you say? This was also negative 1.75. Correct? Wasn't that the decimal representation? So that kind of helps me to know that I'm looking for negative 2 or 0. Right? That's a number to the left, number to the right of it. And so when I plug that in to my original equation right here, it's going to tell me which way to shade. All right, so if I plug in negative 2 right here, if I plug in negative 2 right here, which this is still, please understand, this is something that you still struggle with. Okay? And I know you like your little trick that you have right here. That's fine. It should tell you which way it's going to shade. When those things flip around and we have some issues, plug this in right here. I'm going to plug in negative 2. So I'm going to get negative 8 times negative 2 minus 3 has got to be greater than 11. So negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. Positive 16 minus 3 is positive 13. Is 13 greater than 11? Yes. So therefore, I know it's an open circle, and it's going to shade that direction, correct? Is there any need in me checking the other one? All right. Even if I did, 0 is going to cancel out my negative 8. Is negative 3 greater than 11? Never. Negative 3 is not greater than 11, so therefore I've got it shaded the correct way. We're going to put them together in just a second. I'm going to add 3 here, add 3 there. It's going to be negative 8. Divided by negative 8. A is going to flip my sign, give me positive 1. All right? So there's that there. Number to the left of 1 is 0. Number to the right of 1 is positive 2. Okay? Plug it back into the original right here, the one you solved with. Okay? So I'll plug 0 in there. That gives me negative 3. Is negative 3 less than negative 11?
Yes.
Or, no, it's
No, it's greater.
It's greater than. All right? Then I plug in 2. So negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Minus 3 is going to give me negative 19. Is negative 19 less than negative 11?
yes.
Yes. And so therefore, open circle, shaded that way. When I put those two things together now on the same number line,
You put a closed circle.
well, I didn't. It's not supposed to be. It's just my marker ran together for me. Okay, and so therefore I got a negative 7 over 4 and a 1. Which way do they shade?
Why is that a solid dot?
It's not.
It's not. My marker went together. So that's an open dot. That's an open dot. This one shades this way. This one shades that way. Tell me the interval notation.
Wouldn't it be negative 1.75?
Negative infinity, 1.75.
Negative infinity to negative 7 over 4 or 1.75.
Close parentheses.
Close parenthesis. Open parenthesis 1
Infinity.
to infinity.
I don't know why.
Now, once again, that is review for Unit 2 that you need to keep seeing. I can't go back and work every one of those problems like that, but I do have inequalities here that we get to see. So make sure that you're understanding that.